Hello guys, I'm back, and this time I have a new Necromancer build for you. We're still on the Magicka Necro. The old build that you've seen from me, the heavy armor build, not really happy with it. It didn't perform as well as I thought it would in PvP. It's lacking a lot of stuff. The whole idea behind this build was to capture the essence of the class and use as many necromancer abilities as possible, but I very soon realized that the class kind of is incomplete. It's missing a lot of stuff that's important in PvP, so it didn't perform as well as I thought it would. This build changes that. It's a light armor build. It covers way more buffs. It covers way more stuff that you need in PvP. I tested it yesterday, and it just feels completely different. It's so much nicer. So I really hope you like it. Let's jump right in. Our Magicka, almost 36k, not bad, not bad. The health, almost 27k, and that's on a light armor build. So pretty bulky. I like that. The stamina, a little over 14k. I think that's enough for PvP. If you don't feel comfortable, just put a little more on. But I think around 14 to 15k is well enough for open world PvP. So yeah, I think that's pretty decent. Our Magicka recovery coming in at almost 2k, and if we use our guy here, our summon, we'll be sitting at 2.2k. On the live server on my build, this actually goes up to 2.3k. I don't know why I have more regen over there than I have here, but yeah, this is a lot, and I really like this. It might be a little too much. You could definitely go for less regen, but I gotta say, I really enjoyed having a little more regen than usual. And just because it allows you to just go all out on the defense, on the offense, just pump out those skills, whatever you need. It really helps. Makes this build way more robust. You don't run out of magicka. That's just one of the things that's really important. And one of the things that kind of annoyed me about the old build, it had decent regen, but for some reason it just ran out. I mean, it was a heavy armor build, so the costs are higher. On the light armor build, we have lower costs and the higher regen, so it just works out. I really like that. And I mean, if we take a look at the stamina recovery, um, almost 900. That's also pretty decent. You could buff this through your CP if you wanted more. But honestly, I think almost 900 on a Magicka build is pretty decent. Um, and I think with 14k, that's enough. So pretty nice. The spell damage only coming in at 2,200. We do have the spell damage buff on this build, so it's gonna go up to, I don't know, probably 2.7, 2.8 maybe, and then we light attack on our back bar, and this should get us up to 3.5k, I guess. So not bad. 3.5k with 36k magicka, quite a lot of damage. Our resistances, of course, not a whole lot because we are in light armor, but I mean, 21k on the back bar spell resistance and 16.5 physical. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. It really isn't. And then we also sport 2.5k crit resistance. So quite a nice build, I would say. Pretty bulky for a light armor build. You could of course always, have more if you really like, but I think that's enough depending on how comfortable you are playing a light armor build. So yeah, feel free to change this up, but I think that's just enough. um our Atronach, Mundus, we are using the our Mundus, we are using the Atronach, of course, stacking the regen. If you don't need the regen, feel free to swap this out for maybe spell damage, maybe penetration, maybe even go the steed if you want to play more into the speedy playstyle, which would be viable. Yeah, so we are, of course, vampire as always, and this time I would really say you gotta be vampire. You know, usually I leave it up to you, but nah, in this case, I really think you should be vampire. Because we need the mist form, it really helps. We need the bat swarm. This is our, well, I would almost say our main ultimate. We're not using the Colossus that much. The bat swarm just gives us a little more. It just completes the kit. You know, we get a little more healing, a little more AoE damage. That's easier to control, and it also acts like as a stealth attack when you have a Nightblade around you. You know, you can just pull them out by going into Bat Swarm, preventing them from cloaking away, which is worth a lot these days. I can tell you that. And of course, we're using the Witch Mother's Potent Brew because we want the regen, and we are using one of the sets that really benefits from using this. And this set is Bright Throat's Boast. One of my favorite sets, such a good set, gives so much Magicka, 4K Magicka out of this set. So this not only gives you a lot of sustain due to a big Magicka pool, but also just having extra damage. This is the equivalent of roughly 400 spell damage. So you can get quite a bit of damage out of this set. And of course, the regen is awesome. Just such a nice, well-rounded set. I can only recommend this beautiful set. We are running Swift on the jewelry because I thought, you know, the Necro doesn't get a speed buff, and you can really feel it on the Necro. You're really slow, you don't have a gap closer and stuff like that. So going for some Swift on the jewelry is really doing a lot for me. Um, it makes us fast enough so we can actually keep up with people. We can create some distance. Um, so I think this is the best that we can do for some extra speed. Like I said, if you don't want the regen, feel free to use the Steed Mundus, get some more speed out of it. But I think that's enough. That's quite fine. But feel free. Um, our staves are infused both. And we're using weapon damage on the back bar and shock damage on the front bar. Like I always say, the minor vulnerability is worth a lot. The 8% extra damage to your targets, you really want that. So yeah, front damage on shock damage on the front bar, I think is the way to go. We're using Inferno Staff on the front bar, but you can use whatever you want. I just like for this build, I just like the heavy attack, you know, just charging up a heavy attack and then adding this to the burst is worth a lot. But you could also use a lightning staff. It would also be really good and would give you more damage on your blast bones, because you of course get the extra damage, the extra AOE damage when you use a lightning staff. The backbar staff is an ice staff that gives us the strong block on our backbar. We can block with our Magicka, which is quite nice. So you can just spend your stamina on dodge rolling and spend your Magicka on blocking. And with the amount of Magicka regen that we have, we should be quite okay here. So if you drop the block for a couple seconds, you regen a lot of Magicka and then you can go back into block. So yeah, I think that's the best decision we can make here. And the second set is, surprise, surprise, it's Torix Pact. Now, is it Torix Tuesday yet? I don't know. You tell me. But this is, of course, not a Torix Tuesday build, but I still thought Torix might be the right set for this build. Because, I mean, overall, it's just a nice set. The spell damage, the health, the spell resistance, just playing into damage and some bulkiness. I like that. And, of course, the strong enchant damage really gives us the edge on this build, I think. So, of course, that's why we have the infused staves. You know, front bar infused, back bar infused. Really important to get the most out of your enchants. You really want to go infused. And of course, this is all light armor on the body pieces here. infused on the big pieces with Tristat enchants just to get some more bulk, and impen on the small pieces with some Magicka. Um, the third set, our monster set, is of course Slimecraw. Is there any other monster set? I don't think so. Slimecraw, the best set in the game. Use it. Get it. If you don't have it, get it now. What are you doing? Okay, so also here, infused on the big piece, impen on the small one. Um, Heavy and medium, of course, we want the undaunted passes. Now on the light server, on the live server, I don't have my undaunted passes yet. I will get them in the next 2 days, I guess. And but of course, you want to go for the nice 5-1-1 split to get the most out of your build. Once you have the undaunted passes. So yeah, that is the setup here, and let's move on to the skills. On our front bar, we of course have the Blast Bones. I was actually thinking about not using Blast Bones on this build because I had such a bad experience on the old build, but I'm glad I still put it on because it's working much better with this build, with the kit that we have available. This works just better. I get more Blast Bone hits with this because we have stuns and we have more reliable damage overall. So the Blast Bones working way better on this build than on the old build. So nice to keep it. The next skill is Ricochet Skull. That's of course the Magicka morph. Um, it is, I don't know, I like it. It's still a bit slow. Still have issues with the speed of this skill, but overall, um, it's not bad. It's not bad. Also performing way better on this build than it did on the other build, just because we have the staff and we get the light and heavy attacks from the staff and our um our flame reach. It just makes it way more easier to actually hit the skulls, and they hit decently hard. So we're hitting like almost 9k. I would say like 9k when we're buffed, maybe even 9.5k tooltips when we're buffed up. And of course, every third cast deals 20% more damage, so they can hit quite hard, and they can of course, because it's the Ricochet Skull morph, spread out to other people. So if you just spam them into a group, they will, on every third cast, they will split up and hit two more people. So a little more extra damage, I guess, really can't hurt. The next skill is Flame Reach. This is a game changer. This is just one skill that really makes this build way more complete than the other build was, because on the other build we didn't have a CC, because the Necro doesn't really come with a reliable CC. So this is really nice. A nice on-demand single target CC. It does a decent amount of damage. It puts a flame dot on your target and it knocks your target back. So not only can you CC your target, but you can also do some trolley plays by knocking people off the tower, off the bridge, like the old school Nightblade, when you remember Cypher played this, just sneaking into a tower and just knocking people off. Really fun to do. I like this a lot. So this is a great skill. I'm glad I finally have a build that has a reliable CC. The next skill is Skeletal Arcanist. This is just overall a nice skill. It gives you the extra regen from the passives. Um, so really important getting the extra regen, but it also of course adds the the little arcanist that shoots some shock attacks at people. They can also splash, they can do some AoE damage. It adds just a little more pressure. So yeah, I like this a lot. We can have quite a lot of damage splats on a target if we go for like a light attack into um, a ricochet skull, for example, or a flame reach, and then our arcanist shoots his attacks. So that's a lot. It's a light attack. That's the enchant proc. That's the arcanist damage. That's the whatever skill you cast with it. That's a lot of damage splats at once at the target. So really stacking a lot of attacks, especially if someone's blocking that will drain the stamina really fast, so I like that. The next skill is Inner Light. This is a great skill. For me personally, I always use it to get a little more extra Magicka. Now, this is not a Magicka stacking build, but I think the extra Magicka we get from this skill is quite valuable. And of course, you get the Major Prophecy buff when you're on this bar. You don't have to cast the skill, you just get it by slotting it. Getting some extra spell crit, really nice, makes this build also much better than the old build. We have like 20% more crit on this build than we had on the old build, so just overall better. More is more. More is better. And the ultimate we use is Glacial Colossus. But like I said, we are not really using it that much because we have the Bat Swarm on the other bar. And I think for most situations, the Bat Swarm is the better ultimate. But of course, if you want to go for the nice big smack, the nice Hulk smash, use this thing. It is beastly, especially if you can combine this with some Stalking Blast Bone Burst, time it right, and boom, you can potentially just nuke a whole group. I like this a lot. Let's move on to the back bar. The first skill we have is Structured Entropy. Of course, something you don't see much these days, but it's kind of a big deal for the Magicka Necro because we can get the major sorcery buff, which we are missing. So I like that. We also get some extra health, which is not bad, I guess. We don't really need it, but I mean, more health, I can't complain. It also adds a little dot. It's really not strong, and I wish Zos would actually buff the dot on this skill. But I mean, it is what it is. You can put it on someone, and it can prevent them from entering stealth when they're not a Nightblade. So that's also something to consider. And you get a little heal out of it every couple seconds. So it's really not a bad skill, and it's really cheap. So there's not really a reason not to run it. So yeah. The next skill is Hexproof. This is, of course, our main source of purge. We can purge 4 negative effects, which is really strong. Yeah, it costs health, but it's really easy to use. Um, the combo I always go for because we have the next skill is Resistant Flash. It's our heal. I explained this in the last video. Um, it's a pretty beefy burst heal, but it puts a minor defile on you. Um, but you can just cleanse it off with the hexproof. So if you get pressured, I would just recommend you go for the burst heal and then you cleanse the debuff off. Burst heal, cleanse, burst heal, cleanse. And that way you just, you get your burst heal and you cleanse the debuff off of you and cleanse any other negative effects that are on you at that time. So I really like that combo, especially if you have the strong ice staff. You go just for the heal and the purge and the heal and the purge, and it makes you really, really tanky. So great skill, great combo. And let's move on to the next skill. Next skill is Elusive Mist. This is our main source of Major Expedition. You can just stay in mist form if you want, or you can just cancel it by blocking, by um, dodging, by swapping weapons, whatever your preferred method of canceling is. And you can just cancel it right away and just get the speed buff. But of course, when you get pressured, the 75% damage reduction is really helpful. It can help you just regen your stamina when your stamina is low and you don't have CC immunity and you're afraid of catching a nasty CC. Just go in Elusive Mist. Mist around, you have 4 seconds. This really helps your stam bar recover and you just take less damage. You have a couple seconds to really think about what your next move could be. Look around, assess the situation, and yeah, this just really gives you a couple seconds of breathing room and then you can move on, or you just, like I said, use it for the speed buff, which I do a lot. Just pop it real quick, cancel it right away, and get the speed buff. So great skill, I love it. The next skill is Summoner's Armor. You could go for the other morph that pulls people. I kind of think, I don't know, it is really unreliable. You never know when people get pulled, and sometimes they just don't get pulled. I don't know. It seems a bit weak. So I went for this morph. I think it's the better morph um, for this build because we get cheaper summons, which just plays into the nice sustained playstyle we have on this build. And yeah, but feel free to use the other morph if it works for you. Just use it. For me, this one works better. So yeah. And the next skill is Devouring Swarm. Of course, we talked about it. Bat Swarm, such a great skill. Main reason I use this skill is it's so much cheaper than the other one. You know, the other one costs 225. That's a lot of ultimate to get. And I feel, I don't know, Necro, if you don't build for ultimate regen, the Necro feels kind of slow ultimate regen wise. Um, we could of course build for more ultimate regen, but it's a little finicky. So I just like my basic ultimate regen here, and that's why I go for a cheaper ultimate. We just have way more uptime on this ultimate. 152 ultimate is way better, and it is actually a really nice skill, especially if you get pressured a lot. If you have a lot of people on you, you just pop this, you become really tanky because there's a lot of healing coming in, a lot of outgoing damage. People might back off of you because they don't want to take the amount of damage, giving you some breathing room. And just overall, I like this. Like I mentioned before, if you have a Nightblade cloaking away, you can just pop this and pull them right out. They will have issues going back into stealth, and then you can just hit them with a burst. And yeah, so I really love this ultimate, but feel free to use whatever you use. Another great ultimate would be like Meteor. You know, you could go for the Ice Comet, or the other morph would be really nice. Or if you really want, you can go for the Ravenous Goliath or the Pummeling Goliath. I personally don't like the Goliath that much, but it also is quite nice if you get, you know, if things go south and you have a lot of people on you, you take a lot of damage. Popping this thing makes you tanky, and it just heals you up to full health right away. So this can save your life, whatever you like, or when you play in a group, of course. You can check out the reanimate plays that you can do. This could be really helpful, but like I said, I like the Bat Swarm the most. So whatever it is that you desire, go for it. And lastly, we're going to take a quick look at the champion points. In the red tree, we have our standard layout: 51 Ironclad, 77 Resistant, 43 in Hardy and Elemental Defender, and 56 in Quick Recovery. In the green tree, we have 37 in Warlord, 19 in Sprinter, 22 Mooncav, 56 Arcanist, 43 in Tenacity, 56 in Tumbling, and 37 in Shadow Ward. You could go more into Shadow Ward if you want more of the Ice Staff blocking, but I think 15% is quite a lot, and then you get a nice cheap roll dodge, which I think makes the build more complete. Having the nice mix of a cheap roll dodge and also a cheap ice staff block. So this is my preferred way of doing it. But if you want more of the ice staff block, of course, swap them around, put 37 in here and 56 in here, and then you're good to go. And when it comes to damage, we just went all in burst damage like we always do. 56 in Elfborn, 56 in Elemental Expert, 77 in Spell Erosion to just get the nice flat 5k spell penetration. And then, of course, we pump the rest that we have in Master at Arms. Get the nice 24%. That's really, really good. Makes the Blast Bones hit hard. Makes all your other bursty skills hit hard. Also your enchants, because we are running the Torix Pact set. Nothing in Thaumaturge, because we don't have a whole lot of damage over time on this build. But if you decide to go more damage over time focused, maybe go for the Lightning Staff and maybe the Boneyard. Then you could put some points in here if you really want to push it. But I think for this particular build, the burst damage focus is the best choice. So yeah, that's the champion points, ladies and gentlemen. And that concludes the build. I will put some footage at the end of the video so you can see this build in action. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. I need your support, really do. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, so please subscribe if you liked it. Also, come over to my Twitch channel, follow me, watch my streams. I want to talk to you. We're building a nice little community over there. So if you're interested in watching me live, see all these great builds in action, come over. I'm streaming almost every day. Come say hi, enjoy. And yeah, that's it for now. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.
Demons rampage in the Imperial City. Stop! You can't cross. Demons rampage in the Imperial City.